First preseason game starting right here on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game, 5 o'clock. 7 o'clock is the kick. Here's what I expect, right? Young players, rookies, undrafted free agents.
Right.
Those are the guys that are going to get the long looks. Those are the guys that are going to be on the field the most. Does it mean that we don't start our first-team offense? I don't know. I don't know if Arthur Smith feels like, Mike, he got the work in that they needed to get in. We talked with Cameron Wolfe earlier. You'll hear that interview coming up later in the 6 o'clock hour from NFL Network, who was down there. Mm-hmm. He's covered the Falcons. He's been covering the Dolphins, and he was saying, look, Falcons looked impressive. Right? There were some things to be very excited about when you talk about these 2 days of practices. Right. So we don't know if Arthur Smith said, you know what, I got enough out of him, and I'm not going to start those guys.
Well, Arthur Smith talking to the media saying that he's liking the decision-making from Desmond Ridder. Things are popping.
Yep.
And it's been darn good, I'm paraphrasing. So that's good news. And, yeah, I get it. We all want to see all the starters, to your point, everybody come out. I want to see – guys want to tune up the TV on Friday night. There's Pitts, there's Drake London. You might not get all that. So, but did they get the work in? Because even by Miami reporters' opinions, the Falcons look solid. So if Ridder looked good enough that he's only going to play a series or two, maybe that, even though most Falcon fans will say, look, he only played 4 games. Not knocking the guy. And as we talked earlier, and you'll hear from Cameron Wolfe, it's not that he's effective, but is he popping? You know, is he, or I guess I'll counter my own statement. Does he have to even pop in this offense? I mean, people want to see the big vertical passing game. I get all that. But with the weapons and the way we're going to run the ball, does he have to be that guy anyway?
Yeah, I just don't know if you're going to see enough of that in the preseason. You'd like to get maybe an explosive player too, but it's still basic, Mike. You're not showing a whole lot with teams you're going to, everybody's watching everybody. So you're going to do basic things, but it's about execution. Even with the basic things, you can still move the football, right? It's not like you have to go deep into the playbook. So, yeah, I don't know if he needs to pop. He just needs to be consistent and don't turn the ball over. And that's kind of what he's done in these 2 practices. It's Dukes and Bell at Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Falcon Report, guys, as we talk about what we expect tomorrow. And Coach said this, too, by the way. If we feel like we need to play some of the vets early, we'll play them. If we think we can hold off a week and we want to play the young guys, we'll have to wait and see and evaluate. So he's leaving it wide open as to how he wants to potentially do this or who will maybe see some time. But I'll say this. The positions that need the most work, this is the question. Is it left guard? Isn't that one of the positions?
I mean, Bergeron's gotten all the good news. I mean, like there's a silver lining to the Hennessy injury is that Bergeron's gotten all the big snaps with the first team. And I haven't heard anything written about Bergeron embarrassing himself or getting worked by people. Matter of fact, there was a couple of Dolphins media members who said they were impressed at how the Falcons' offensive line manhandled the Dolphins' defensive line.
Cornerback number 2. Right now, with the injury to Okudah, isn't that a position that needs work? All these guys rotating in?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, D. Alford, are you going to go with a guy with a little more experience? Or do you say Clark Phillips is, he's a rock star on the rise? Give him a shot?
I think so. The quarterback thing is, and I've said this, Taylor Heinicke is going to be the backup. We know that. I don't necessarily know, Mike, how much he will actually play compared to the third-string quarterback that they may still feel like they need to figure some things out with. But it is something to look at. And then, defensively, guys, I don't know if the D-line needs a lot of work. I don't expect to see Grady and Calais, and you said it, some of these guys. But maybe some of the other guys in the secondary or even at the linebacker position, because we talk about depth. We've talked a lot about Caden Ellis and Anderson. What about the guys behind those guys?
Right. And also, I know that because we've talked about the depth and defense, so I guess we're going to see a little bit of Arnold Ebiketie, Tay Davis, Michael Walker, Okundeji, Taquan Graham. So those are the guys. And also, maybe a guy you'll see on Friday is Zach Harrison.
Yes.
And coaches actually mentioned him specifically as a guy who's really been throwing down. So, and again, this is the big dude. Some guys felt it was a steal because of his upside in the 3rd round out of Ohio State.
All right, guys, want to hear from you, your expectations as Friday is approaching. And, again, I don't want to take too much. I don't want to put too much on a first preseason game, especially not knowing what the guys are going to play. Game 2, that'll be against Cincinnati.
Right.
I think we're going to see a little bit more because that's really the litmus test before you get to the final preseason game, Mike, Falcons-Pittsburgh on the 24th. And then you get like 2 weeks. Then the season starts.
Right.
Okay?
Well, I mean, if you're looking for battles, how about number 19, Penny Hart?
Okay.
You and I were calling Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
But this guy's 5'8". He's making some great catches. This dude every time in the red zone, he had a nice catch. All right, everybody's favorite. Give me the Frank Darby laugh. Craig Darby. He may get cut. He may make the team. He had a nice touchdown when we were up at practice last week.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's where we're looking for depth because these are, for what it's worth, these are some of the dudes. Kaderil Hodge was on middays. Frank Darby, Patty Hart, Josh Ali. Those are some of the dudes that are going to be battling for the wide receiver job. Because for the most part, this wide receivers are set. Scotty Miller will be in the slot when he's on the field. Cordero Patterson's going to get some shots at wide receiver. It's going to be a little bit different. And a lot of 2 tight end sets.
Tua, by the way, asked about the Falcons' defense, says, I got to give him credit. They look really good. That's Tua, okay?
Who said that?
Tua Tagovailoa. He said they're executing defensive-wise for the most part. I just got to give him props. That's what Tua said over these last couple of days. Now, Mike, here's the thing. When you think about where we spent our money, okay, it's got to be better. $106 million in free agency, $64 million for Jesse Bates. That's not 1 year. We know this is over the course of his contract. But David Onyemata, $35 million. Calais Campbell, $7 million. When Mike and I were talking about adding Calais Campbell, we were like, yeah, $3 million, maybe. $7 million. As soon as we heard that, he was like, he's starting.
Well, that means more than 25 snaps a game.
You got to be a dude, right? So, but we've spent a lot of money on the defense, and then you drafted offense. This is where we're at. So for Tua to say, got to give him credit, they look really good. I don't think he's saying that for his health.
Yeah, and we've talked about, again, the guy, I'm going to stick by it. I think we made these predictions about a couple months ago. I think Caden Ellis is going to be one of the young stars, one of the stars on this defense. A dude who did a good job in New Orleans, who nobody ever heard of before we got him. People looked up and they were like, 7 sacks. This guy actually got after it. I think Onyemata, you talked about it. Maybe, you know what? Maybe Grady gets in there. Maybe Grady gets some sacks as opposed to having 3 guys trying to tackle him. Like usually look like there's like 1,000 guys on him, like Gulliver's Travels, but Grady's trying to burst through.
That's the thing. I think if anybody's going to benefit from having these other guys around him, that is going to be key for Grady Jarrett. I just think so. So we'll see. I mean, tomorrow will be fun. It's always fun to see what your team looks like to start the first preseason game, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk, or you'll get a chance to see some of the guys Mike and I have been talking about at practice here the last week and a half or so. But everybody's trying to earn a job, Mike, and if they're not trying to earn a job here, you know that. They're trying to earn a job somewhere else.
Right,
so
you're putting stuff on tape.
Yeah, you're trying to get it in.
The kind of stuff we normally see on Hard Knocks.
But we're not seeing that kind of stuff. 404-726-0929. Exactly. Hey, that is our Solomon Brothers Diamond text line. Follow us, guys. He's Mike Bell, ATL. I'm at Put 'em Up. See Dukes, the radio show. Dukes and Bell 929. Follow the radio station at 929 The Game. We're also on YouTube. Whispers. His name's Jason. He's running our cameras at 929 The Game. And on Twitch, twitch.tv/ATL 929 The Game.